It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, and welcome to the Forum on Eagle Television. I'm Gary Shorman. With me is our guest, Mark Dinkel. He's going to be talking about the programs going on over at Westside. First, our program's brought to you by all the great folks out at HaysMed. Mark Dinkel's our guest, and he's a program coordinator for Westside, which is a special needs school here in the USD 489, but it actually serves a bigger area, and that's what we're going to be talking about. What exactly is Westside?
All right.
Those people have heard the name. They say, boy,
Yes.
student goes to Westside. What is Westside?
Yes. Well, Westside School is a cooperative effort with the USD 49 School District, the West Central Kansas Special Education Co-op, and High Plains Mental Health Center. And our catchment area consists of Hays, Victoria, Ellis, and La Crosse, because that's the catchment for the special education co-op. Okay.
Well, when you look at that, we went back, we were kind of saying when it got started, 25, it's been in business as a school, Westside, for over 25 years.
Correct.
What brought that to the beginning?
I wasn't around when that started, but that was a collaborative effort with High Plains, the school district, the special education co-op, the county attorney's office, and Department of Children and Families. Back then it would have been called SRS at that point in time. And they were looking to find a solution to help these kids that were struggling and were getting placed out of home. It might be state hospital or a psychiatric residential treatment facility or foster care. And they were looking for a way to treat those kids and keep them in the community rather than uprooting them and expecting them to have good outcomes when you're having to uproot them and move them someplace else. Sometimes
you
out of the
see
community.
that happen, and you see the kids that have that need. Sometimes you think, boy, it's only today. Mm-hmm. But back in 1991, 92, when the program was getting started,
yes,
the same questions were there. How do you take care of these kids that have special needs within the regular school system?
Correct.
And allow that to do that. So how's the program grown? Now, you and I weren't a part of it back in 91.
Right,
and
right.
You've been a part of it for how many years now?
Most of my 15 years with High Plains has been at Westside, and I've been the program coordinator there now for this. I think will be the end of my 9th school year there.
So you have some history of doing that. Coming on board, what have you seen happen over the course of time?
Really, it went from serving primarily upper elementary grades through high school to now I have a classroom that's just kindergarten through 3rd grade. So we've seen a greater need with those younger children now than we did in years past.
So one of the things that comes to mind is like, what qualifies or what's the need that gets a student in Westside? Because in many cases, they're over at Westside. That's not the case. Mm-hmm. These kids have a lot of potential. Some of them have a lot of potential. They
Absolutely.
just have special needs.
And they're really good kids. These are kids that are struggling with the symptoms of ADHD, maybe anxiety. Quite a few kids struggle with anxiety. And of course that fight or flight response kicks in, and that's not always conducive to the learning environment in the classroom. And so kids would get referred when their mental health needs reach a point where they're not able to function in a traditional classroom setting. It might impact their learning or even impact the learning of others in the classroom.
You said you've been at it 9 years. How do you go about the educational side of this to say, what do you do in these cases? Because it involves several different groups, different organizations putting together to help.
Yes. The teachers and paraeducators are all provided by the special ed co-op and the school district, of course. And within each of those classrooms, we have mental health professionals that are there in the moment, ready to help students with if they get frustrated, if they get scared, if they get anxious, if they get angry. And then we also provide individual and family therapy to our families, and we provide psychosocial groups daily in our program, teaching coping skills and problem solving, and then we're available to our families as well on a 24/7 basis. There's a crisis line, so if their child is experiencing distress in the evenings before school, helping a kid get to school in the morning that might be too anxious to come to school, or if they're in crisis, at 10 o'clock at night, they can give us a call and we're there to help. So.
That has to be reassuring for a parent, and in some cases a foster parent,
Correct.
to have that sort of resource. And when they do that, is that something that it's, when they get into the program, you sit down with the parents, say, here's what to expect, how do you make that happen, and all that. I assume that goes on.
Yes, and I always give them my educated guess of how how the services will unfold and what it will look like. But of course, services are very individualized, and that can look different for each child or each family.
So let's talk about the area you serve. How do kids in other school districts and some of the outlying areas, how do they get into the program? Is that just through the same special ed co-op?
Yes. So like I said earlier, I think it's Ellis, Victoria, La Crosse, and the Hayes School District. We're not able to accept anybody outside of that catchment area.
Is there a limit to how many kids you can handle?
And so I do not have a hard cap, but obviously there's a finite amount of space in my building, and so we've never put a hard cap on it. And some of it depends on the particular needs that we have in a student. I mean, I've had a classroom with 12 students in it that functioned just fine, and that same classroom with 8 was challenging at times, and so sometimes it just depends on the nature of the kids and the behaviors that we're dealing with. So.
One of the things I have learned in taking a look at this is you look across the state, and this was one of the first programs that was put in place early on, and I know others have tried to emulate. How's that gone across the state? How does this compare to other programs?
There's been a few school districts that have emulated it over the years. Most of them have kind of abandoned this model, and due to various funding challenges and things, I think it's kind of broken down. There's a few places in the state that are similar to what we do, but we're a fairly unique program. At the time it was started, we actually had won a National Mental Health Award because it was a very unique idea at the time, and so. So this marriage between, mental health and school staff working together on the same team is fairly rare, actually.
Well, let's do a what if. What if you don't have a program like Westside that has this? What happens to the kids at that point when they don't have a place to go?
We'd probably see some of those kids end up in the foster care system, or maybe bouncing back and forth from the state hospital. Or possibly longer-term psychiatric placements. So
this allows them to possibly get back into the classroom, stay within the community with their family, whether it be a foster family, or they stay within the community.
Yes, and the goal is always reintegration, and so the kids that come to Westside, the goal is always, working toward getting them back at their home school.
Well, let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk with Mark about maybe some success stories that have happened, and then what you do in the summer, because some teachers get to go home. You get to stay there and work through the summer. We'll talk about what that means and what you do. Mark Dinkel is our guest. He's the program coordinator at Westside School here at USD 489. We'll take a break. Be back with more after this from Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Eagle Communications is your ultimate business partner. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. The only piece missing is your business. Call Eagle Communications today at 877-61-EAGLE.
Welcome back to the second half of our forum program here on Eagle Television. Again, it's good to have you watching along, and this program works well because you send us ideas and suggestions about future shows, people that are doing amazing things in our community, like what's going on at Westside and Mark and his team over there. If you have an idea, I'd like to talk to you about that and maybe find somebody to get on the show and talk about that idea. You can give me a call or give me an email, gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. You can also go on Facebook. We're under ECTV Forum, ECTV Forum right there. Or you can call my office. That's 785-625-4000. I'd like to talk to you about your idea. Our guest is Mark Dinkel, and he's program coordinator at Westside in USD 489. Mark, we went into the break talking about success stories, because if you're in business over 25 years, obviously there's some successes that go on with that.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about those?
I have to worry about confidentiality, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But yes, many success stories. I wouldn't have done it for 15 years if there wasn't success stories. And so it's great. You know, sometimes you're out in the community and my staff or myself get approached and they'll say things like, shake your hand and say thank you for giving me my child back. I mean, there's no greater thank you than hearing that. It's neat to be able to see the kids that have been through our program. You know, you read about them in the newspaper and they're in activities and sports. Or every year now I have a handful. You know, that I get invited to graduations and things. And so yeah, it's nice, and that's the kind of stuff that keeps you going. I have a lot of past students that will stop by in my office just to let me know they're doing okay, to check in and things. And,
well, you know, in general, most kids want to do well, and sometimes they don't have either it's a home experience, they don't have a life experience, they don't have the ability to do that for whatever reason. And you're giving them a second chance, but you're giving them a chance to really get back into the mainstream.
Yeah, absolutely. I like how you said that, you know, kids want to do well. That's kind of a motto of ours, is that kids do well when they can. And so I don't think anybody gets up in the morning and say, you know, I want to be difficult for my teacher today or my parent. And so it's just about helping them manage their symptoms and teaching them the tools to be successful. So.
Well, Mark, when I saw you were coming on the show, it's great because I know you get the chance to work year round. School has ended for most people out here, but you're
pretty
working
close. Yes.
What do you do in the off season? I think you just don't sit around and play games.
No.
There.
Well, first of all, I give my teachers and the paraeducators a hard time because they do get the summer off, and so I give them a hard time and tell them to enjoy their break, but not too much.
Not too much.
And then the rest of us, the mental health staff, we continue to work year round, and we plan psychosocial groups throughout the summer, and we do individual services throughout the summer because those needs don't stop just because school's not in session, and so we continue to work with our students and the families.
I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right, school ends, and that may be one of the most difficult times for those students. And so if they can continue on with the program and help them be ready for the next school year, that could be one of the more valuable times you have with those kids.
Absolutely. And some kids that are, you know, maybe struggling at their home school at the end of the school year, they're invited to join us over the summer as well. And so sometimes we can try to get those interventions in place so that they can be successful in the fall and maybe not have to be referred to Westside in the fall.
When you get those groups together, I bet there's interesting stories. Again, I know you can't talk about that, but when you get grouped together, you have to come away sometime with a feeling that by being able to share the common challenges they have, that's good as well, because it shows, no, I'm not the only one with this issue.
Yes, because many of them, when they're getting referred, you know, they're having difficulties and challenges, and they feel like their teachers are down on them, their parents are down on them sometimes their peers, and so to be able to come to a classroom and realize that they're not the only ones that are having some of these same struggles is pretty powerful just in its own right.
Well, I love what you do in taking those kids and helping them get back into the classroom. I know it doesn't happen all the time, but being able to figure out to do that. Where can someone go to say, hey, I have a question about this program?
Sure.
How do they get to you? How do they get to the program?
Sure. They can always feel free to give me a call. The number is 623-2416. The referral process usually begins with their home school, and so if they're looking, you know, as a potential referral to Westside, that needs to start with their school administrator, with their principal, with their school psychs, maybe school counselor. But even if they're just interested in getting outpatient mental health support, if they want to give me a call, I can put them in touch with the outpatient resources too, because there's some steps we can do sometimes before they would come to Westside.
Are there requirements for a student to participate other than just being in our area?
They have to have a mental health diagnosis, and then there's some functional criteria that some functional impairment criteria
to go with it.
In the home school and community that have to be present in order to qualify.
So first, start with teacher in your school, and then after that, you obviously can find out more by either stopping by Westside or just giving you a phone call over there as well. So, Mark, thanks for joining us, because it's eye-opening for a lot of us in the community. You know, you hear that term, what's going on, Westside School, what's taking place. This gives us insight as to what the good things, those good things going on over there. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Our guest is Mark Dinkel. He's a program coordinator for Westside Schools here at USD 489 and some of the surrounding communities as well. So thanks for joining us, and thank you for watching the Forum here on Eagle Television. It's brought to you by Hayes Med and by Eagle TV and Eagle Communications. Our community connected.